Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our 49ers mailbag video, our second mailbag video here, all about the San Francisco 49ers here on Chat Sports. Remember, just a couple of days ago, I made a video, and at the end I said, listen, scroll down on the comments with the hashtag, I think the hashtag 49ers actually. You can ask me any question, and I will answer it on our next mailbag video. You also could DM me on Twitter or tweet at me, at RealThomasMott on Twitter, and I'll answer those questions as well. Well, here we are. I compiled a list of the best questions, got about 7 or 8. Let's go through them one at a time. We'll start with DD72 on YouTube asks, the Niners obviously lack a true number 1 wide receiver, so what do you think the projected depth chart will be? Well, it's an interesting question, right? So this is something that we talked about a lot here on the 49ers report every single week was, which big-name wide receiver in free agency were the 49ers going to get? Talked OBJ, we talked Antonio Brown, and then these guys went elsewhere, and really the only big-name free agent they were able to get was essentially Jordan Matthews from the Philadelphia Eagles, which when I say big name, he's kind of further down on this list. So here's kind of the thought process on how I think the depth chart is going to look. So you put Deebo Samuel, we'll throw it up right now, Deebo Samuel would be the 1, but even then, keep in mind with this depth chart, there really isn't a true number 1. So you could put Deebo at 1, you could put Dante at 1. It really doesn't matter in terms of, here's our true number 1 wide receiver. These guys are going to move all around the field. But as you see, Deebo Samuel 1, Dante Pettis 2, Marquise Goodwin 3, who we'll actually talk about a little bit later. I mean, there could be a chance he might not even be on the team. Jordan Matthews, then Jalen Hurd, then probably Trent Taylor or Kendrick Bourne being kind of that 6th wide receiver. Again, 1 through 6 here can all change. Jalen Hurd could have an excellent rookie year and move up this list. Deebo Samuel could struggle, move back down. Dante Pettis could go up and down. It's fluid, but in general, this is a weakness on the 49ers. I know they drafted Deebo Samuel, and I know they drafted Jalen Hurd out of Baylor. I like the fact they spent picks on the wide receiver position, but again, there's no guarantee they turn out to be good, and even if they do, the wide receiver core is still somewhat weak. Now, listen. We have Jimmy Garoppolo, so he'll make the wide receivers better. The offensive line should be better this year. And the running back position, you got 3 guys there that are pretty darn good. Tevin, Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, and of course Matt Breida. So you'll be able to run the ball. Receiving core, I wish it would have been better. I know they made calls for Antonio Brown. I know they made calls for Odell Beckham Jr., but here we are. What do you guys think? I don't think it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad, but it's still kind of a C+, B- wide receiver core, and we would like to get that to a B+ or A- receiving core, but yeah, listen, beggars can't be choosers. We're the number 2 draft pick this year in the NFL draft, the 2nd worst team, according to your draft stock in terms of last year. Can't just fix everything overnight. I like to see where Deebo Samuel and Jalen Hurd can do what they can do this year in terms of improving and potentially getting this wide receiver core better and better as the days go on. Moving right along here on our 49ers mailbag, Jack B on YouTube asks, will the 49ers sign another safety? Great question. We've talked about this a ton on the normal rumors and news video because we know that Jimmy Ward, the broken collarbone, they are looking for, at least I think they should be looking for, adding a safety here in free agency. And here the guys are available. We can only reiterate this so many times. Tre Boston, Eric Berry, Jonathan Cyprien, and Glover Quinn are the 4 best available in terms of free agents right now. We did this a lot on the last video. We talked about these guys in terms of age, production. You can go back, Chat Sports, and go to the page and find the 49er video before this to find out all the information there. I've said many times, I think Tre Boston should be a Niner right now. And if you scroll down on the comments of my last 49ers video here in Chat Sports, many of you guys agree. So, will they sign another one? I don't know. Should they sign another safety? Absolutely. I'm all for going and get Boston, Berry, Quinn. It doesn't matter to me. Just go ahead and get one. It's fine. Just do it. All right, moving right along. As you can see, here's another good example of people upset about the safety position. Mike Sullivan on YouTube asks, quote, are the 49ers on crack? Can we please sign Tre Boston? I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. You look at Tre Boston in terms of his 2018 stats with the Arizona Cardinals. It's good. 14 games, 3 interceptions, 66 solo tackles. The only thing that I racked my brain, I was reading up on Tre Boston to try and figure out, is there something that we're missing here? Like an injury or personality? I've heard he can be a little bit much in the locker room. I wouldn't say like a cancer in the locker room, but maybe that's why he's unsigned. The Niners want a totally clean locker room. But there's got to be a team in the NFL that would want him. And the fact that no team wants him right now, I I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. So, again, you can look at the 49ers depth chart. You got Tart, Ward, Sherman, Verrett in terms of the defensive backs. People are injured, right? You talk about Verrett being injured, talk about Jimmy Ward being injured. You sit here and you go, they're injured. Will they eventually come back? Yes, and the broken collarbone is 8 to 12 weeks, so he'll be there for the start of the season. But I still think Tre Boston could be an upgrade at the safety position, and I don't know why they haven't signed him. I'm with you. The Niners on crack, I thought that was very funny. The answer is probably no on that one, but, there's a lot of money involved, like Dolphins a couple years back. I'm just going to say, you never know. Kevin Hernandez Jimenez on YouTube asks, if some of our prime players got injured, except Jimmy G, what do you think our record would be? And then he said, once again, a top 10 pick. Good question. Of course, you never want it to happen, but, let's just say that Bosa's injury lags on here, and then maybe Sherman gets injured here, you get a linebacker. You could basically be what the Falcons from last year. The Atlanta Falcons had Deion Jones, Ricardo Allen, and Keanu Neal, and they had Devontae Freeman. A ton of people were injured, and they pulled back a little bit and missed the playoffs, went 7-9. So can Jimmy G be the difference and actually still win games with a C-plus roster with a lot of injuries? Sure, but if you get a lot of our, it says here, if you get a lot of our prime players injured, Jimmy G's good. Is he elite yet? Is he Aaron Rodgers where you can get you 12 wins with a bunch of scrubs playing with them? I don't think so just yet. And so I would say, yeah, you'd probably be a top 10 pick. Maybe not, 1 or 2. 7, 8, 9, you get 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins. We never want this to happen. Let's just hope that this question right here does not come true for our San Francisco 49ers. Austin Baker on YouTube asked kind of a weird one. Should Jimmy G be the actual starting quarterback, or should it really be CJ Beathard? You guys want to answer that in the comments down below? I think this is pretty obvious, right? I think Jimmy G should be and will be the starting quarterback this year. Obviously, you have Garoppolo, you have Mullins, you have Beathard. I decided to pull up CJ Beathard's games in 2018. It's like we forgot that he didn't have a win. He was 0-6, and he never had a pass. He had one time in the loss to Green Bay, with the 33-30 loss to Green Bay. He had a passer rating of over 100. Everything else, not so good. I don't know where this whole don't play Jimmy Garoppolo and play CJ Beathard or whatever. Garoppolo, again, in his 3 starts in 2018, twice he had passer ratings over 113. Pretty good. We forget that this guy is a really, really good player. Injury has been a problem. It's the same with Carson Wentz in Philadelphia, right? How about a guy who was an MVP candidate a couple years back, gets injured, comes back, puts up the same numbers, gets injured again. Listen, in the NFL, your best ability is availability, so hopefully Jimmy G can stay healthy here. And I'll be honest here, too. If I had to pick someone of the two, Mullins and Beathard, to start if Garoppolo went down, I'd probably take Nick Mullins. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just saying. Let's keep going here on the 49ers questions video. Here we go. RB Pyron. I think I said that name right. On YouTube said, what could the Niners realistically get if we traded away Solomon Thomas? Well, that's an interesting question. I think it's a question that's a little bit too late in terms of asking. If we were going to trade Solomon Thomas, it would be before the NFL draft to get a draft pick for him. Now, there were rumors that that was going to happen. I covered that in one of my rumors and news videos pre-NFL draft. I think it was like a 3rd, 4th, or a 5th round draft pick for Solomon Thomas. Would not have been a lot. Maybe a player swap as well. Right now, no one's going to want to trade for him unless you had some sort of defensive tackle injury, and even then, it wouldn't really be a lot. 4th, 5th round draft pick. The best thing to do is keep him on the roster for one more year. The 2018 numbers, again, only 24 solo tackles, 1 sack in 2018, 6 quarterback hits. Can we say he's been a bust, top 5 pick? Hopefully. Maybe he comes back this year. Maybe he balls out. But again, to answer the question, if we were going to trade him right now, you're not getting... I don't think you're getting anything better. The max would be a 3, most likely a 4 or a 5. George Costello on Twitter asked me, and you messaged me at RealThomasMott on Twitter. So with the additions to the wide receiver group in the draft and free agency, who do you think are the ones who don't make the team? Great question. Niners will probably keep, my guess is 6 wide receivers when it's all said and done in terms of the cuts. There are 3 locks, obviously. Deebo Samuel, Jalen Hurd, and Dante Pettis to me. 3 locks, okay? Those guys for sure staying. I think the final 3 spots, and you got 8 other guys in the roster, so you're going to make some cuts here. To me, the final 3 will be Marquise Goodwin, Jordan Matthews, and Kendrick Bourne, which would leave the outside looking in. Trent Taylor, Richie James, Max McCaffrey, and Sean Poindexter, and also Malik Henry, if you want to throw some other names in there as well. I think for sure, obviously, Samuel, Hurd, Pettis, they all stay. I think Marquise Goodwin will be staying. Jordan Matthews, I think, is going to have a really good camp and actually can contribute for this team. And Kendrick Bourne was actually their leading receiver last year. So I think those guys stay, leaving the ones that I said, the 5 there, Taylor, James, McCaffrey, Poindexter, and Malik Henry on the outside looking in terms of the wide receiver core. Finally here, David King on YouTube asked, how would you rate the defense and what would you change on the roster? Interesting. Defensive line, scary, right? You talk about healthy Nick Bosa, added the addition of D4. The defensive line, to me, can compete with a lot of the good ones out there. It's a B+, A- defensive line. Linebacking core, when Quan Alexander comes back, I think can be actually pretty decent. A B+ linebacking core. The secondary is obviously the issue. I think we all know that. What would I change about the roster? I wish we had a true number 1 wide receiver, and I wish we had a better cornerbacks, better safeties. I mean, I think it's that hard. I like the quarterback. I like the running back. I like the O-line, the D-line, the linebackers. So we sit there and you go, wide receiver. I would love to have a true number 1. You know, we don't ask for things that aren't going to come true, but I would love to have seen some sort of maybe just a little bit higher of a draft pick, or maybe like a second and third. I don't know. We'll see how Jalen Hurd turns out from Baylor. But yeah, I'd probably do the safety position because I'm rooting for Tre Boston here. I wish we'd sign him. And then, of course, probably the wide receiver position. There you go. Hope I answered all of your guys' questions there. We'll be doing another one of these next week. So on the next video that I do, probably later this week, like a rumors and news video, be sure to comment down below, #49ers. We'll get all of your questions answered in next week's mailbag video. Again, for Chat Sports, I'm Thomas Mott. I'm signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.